Yeah, for almost 20 years now, I've been either owned and or working on two airplanes, and I finally decided it's too much, and I am decided to sell this airplane, 54 Tri-Pacer, HTC Hound Dog Charlie, and the new owner here is Peter. Today, Peter's getting his first lesson in the left seat. He's had one in the right. Today, he's going to be in the left. I've got a nice sunny day, a little bit of a breeze. Let's get to it. So, your last takeoff, what I want to just talk to you as you're going down here.
Yeah.
What I suggest you do is do what you're doing now. You've got the trims already set.
Right.
So you set the yoke about where it is.
Yeah.
Try not to do anything with it. Try not to push it. Other than if you need to put aileron, put aileron, but try to keep it in a neutral position.
Yeah.
And you don't need you need almost no right rudder to compensate for this thing. I think you were doing a lot of right rudder compensation on the last takeoff.
That's what the training is.
So you don't need any aileron. You need slight left aileron compensation. That's it. So get her on the center line, and away you go. Okay.
You do top eight here.
No. Push the throttle in slowly, and away we're off. Take your hands off the yoke, see if you got it. If you're not happy, give it some more. So, okay, call final. Your circuits are way too big for this airplane. You don't need to be anywhere near the startup. Just going throttle, manage the throttle, get a little bit more to my right. Okay, easy. Push the nose down a bit. Off the throttle slowly. Off the throttle slowly. Left. That. I might have to show you a few more circuit techniques from the left seat. Because I don't seem to be able to show them to you from the right.
Yeah, let's do that next time around.
It is Sunday, September the 20th. And Peter and I have been up flying. We've put in almost an hour. We did 0.9 hours. We did a half an hour, put in a little more gas, and then went back and put in another 0.4 hours of circuits. Some great, some not so great. And I have to confess, flying from the right seat is a challenge. It's not as easy as I thought. And you know what is the most difficult thing that I found? I found the most difficult thing was actually running the throttle. I could not coordinate my left hand on the throttle. Running the yoke with the right hand, not so bad. Rudder pedals, of course, that's natural. Your feet go with you no matter which side you're on, but I found it really difficult to manage the throttle. So anyway, we've been up flying. We're now on the ground, and as part of sale and purchase of this airplane, we are going through an inspection. This is what's called an owner maintenance aircraft. It's a Canadian. I think you can leave that together, Peter, if you get lucky. Or you can take it apart. So we are disassembling all the inspection covers and going through the airframe inspection today. We are probably about already 80 or 90% complete. To clarify, I'm not an instructor. My father was an instructor. I am not an instructor. Take whatever I say here with a grain of salt. My takeaway from my very first attempt at flying in the right seat, trying to give someone a checkout in an airplane they bought, is you better think about it a little bit before you do it the first time. And that was my flaw, is I didn't think about it. I had flown that airplane in so many different conditions and have a lot of 600 hours in Tri-Pacer involves a lot of landings, a lot of takeoffs,
and I never gave it any thought. So this was the scenario. The new owner, Peter, we had done about an hour of him flying in the right seat and me in the left. And I was somewhat critical of his performance in the right seat, and he wasn't comfortable in the right seat and said, I don't like it, I want to fly in the left. So I thought, well, yeah, okay, no problem. I'll take the right, you take the left. And as I said before, I never gave it any thought. So we proceeded to fly, and we did one or two touch and goes, and then I thought that I would give Peter a demonstration from the right seat. And admittedly, I did not do all that well. I got into the scenario where the Tri-Pacer has quite a sink rate, and if you don't manage it right, it'll just drop on you. So I got into this situation where I'm what they call behind the power curve, coming in the land, nose started to come down, started to sink, just before the threshold of the runway. And I needed to add a little bit of power and adjust things. But when you're in a situation like that, and you've got 600 hours in the left seat, and all your reflexes, instincts, muscle memory, whatever you want to call it, you can manage that. But when you're in the right seat for the first time and the controls are reversed, not so easy. So let's just say I made a bad landing. I put it down pretty hard. What happens is your instinct is when you want to pull back on the yoke, you're pulling back on the throttle. When you want to push the throttle, you're actually pushing on the yoke. Your hands just do get confused. Yeah, so the best thing you can do if you find yourself in that situation is to make sure that the best thing that the worst thing I found was trying to manage the throttle. Because if you're trying to just finesse it a little bit, and you're used to doing that with your right hand, and now you got that in your left, it's just not the same. So my recommendation is be high. Keep the airplane a little bit high, and so that when you try to make that landing, you can bring the power back, perhaps bring the power all the way off, and just use the energy of the airplane to glide in. And then all you have to do is finesse the yoke. Maybe a little bit of aileron correction, whatever. Your feet are fine because, rudder pedals are rudder pedals, and whether you're in the left or the right, there's no conflict there. It's your hands. So keep the airplane a little bit high. Remove the power before you get to the threshold, before you get into the landing phase, and then use the energy of the airplane to bring you in for the glide, and just manage the yoke for the flare and the touchdown. And you'll find it a heck of a lot easier.
November the 29th, and Peter off my mistakes. Alright, I'm ready. If you are. Break. So there's him and us and your son all in the circuit. Good. So it'll be fairly busy. I'm not sure where Whiskey November Juliet is. Oh, there he is. You've got time to go out if you go ahead. Just go right ahead and back. Top traffic, Hotel Delta Charlie, backtracking for 28. Up. He's on base there now. Yeah. Should be okay, right? You should be okay. Otherwise you'll go wrong. He's just flying a Learjet. Fantastic. Fantastic. Optimus Delta is going to leave the circuit to the west before you enter. Alright. So you got left crosswind, you want it left aileron deflection and fantastic for Whiskey November Juliet, turning final 28. Top traffic, Hotel Delta Charlie, rolling 28, staying in the circuit, drop. Ready? No hesitation there, no. So when you hit 60 miles an hour, you should be trying to ease it off the runway, Peter. Yeah. You're trying to ease it now, ease it. There you go. Top traffic, Hotel Delta Charlie, turning base for 28, touch and go. Stop. Okay, I'm gonna screw it. Put the flaps on right now, okay? Alright. No, try to bring it in at 7. Whiskey November Juliet, turning base. Should be able to bring it in at 7 with the full flaps. Watch the runway. Now you may have to adjust power here because it's going to sink on you more, right? Bring it up to 15, yeah. If you need that power, give it a good shot, bring it up. Do like 2,500 to warm, keep the engine warm. Good, just did, about putting back pressure on it. You're at 70 miles an hour, good, but you're too far to the right this time. You're letting the wind blow you. The wind will be stronger up here than this on the ground. Whiskey November Juliet. So you gotta get some RPMs on, Peter. You're too much power. Too much power. Too much power. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Don't push it down. Don't push it down. No, I'm not. 17. Okay. Add a little power. Add a little. Not too much. I'm taking the hands off.
Fuel off, mains off. Mains off. Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Peter.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Well, you're welcome, sir. Too bad we can't fly tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're the best. That last landing was the best.
Mm.
I think you. When I finally got you to leave the throttle alone, you found out that you can bring it in 1,200 RPMs. Really nice. It'll stop. Just use the yoke, use the rudders,
Sure.
fly it straight, and adjust for whatever, and it'll land. Yep. Finally, somebody came that put both together. Was willing to take the plane and a hangar as a package deal. I think he's getting a good deal. I think it's a fair deal. And I hope and expect to have an ongoing long relationship with the new owner. And right now we're in the midst of training. He needs 10 hours for his insurance purposes on this aircraft, and we're 6 hours into that, and there's really no limits. If 10 hours is what he has to have, but if it takes 15 or 20, somehow we'll find time to do that. So a lot of the people who follow me on YouTube, some of my most popular videos have been with this airplane. But that's going to go away. Not going to be seeing me in this one as much, but hopefully it won't go away entirely, and at some point me and the Hound Dog have some more adventures. We'll see about that.